Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to the Oriental Café, a podcast where we will sit at the same table to explore the fascinating worlds of Egyptian dance, personal empowerment, and halas, life. I'm your host, Joana Saahirah, world-renowned Oriental dancer, teacher, choreographer, and author, the creator of the pioneering Joana Saahirah's World and Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School. I will meet you at the Oriental Café every 2 weeks, alone or with a guest, sharing intimate yet universal conversations. In agreement or disagreement, we will create bridges and inspire each other, because the world is only one, and so is our human soul. Ready to fall in love? Yalla bina! Welcome everyone to a new episode of the Oriental Café podcast. I have a feeling this will be a very fun conversation with a fun person, an interesting, bright, in my opinion, great communicator. That's Katie Lou. Someone who is helping dancers to promote themselves, to put themselves out there, and someone who is inspiring and kicking our ass in the sweetest, most efficient way. Welcome, Katie, to the Oriental Café podcast. I am happy to have you here and to introduce you and what you do to our community. Ahlan wa sahlan. I usually like
so nice
to
meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. I usually like to ask my guest to introduce her or himself in their own words, because I also believe that we are always evolving and we see ourselves in different ways depending on the season we're on. So how do you see yourself these days? How would you present yourself right now?
I guess I would present myself now. I am just a girl out in the world trying to get other women to get their shit together in regards to their business. That's really my main mission. As much as I love feminine energy and creativity and passion and purpose, we have to bring in male energy as well in order to sustain that for ourselves, in order to have a living, to provide for ourselves or our family, to make it happen. Because so often, you know, this is where I see the gap, is like, you're really good at what you do, but you don't know how to say what you're doing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm a business coach, messaging nerd, strategist. Like, this is where I'm at. I live in Egypt. I've been here for 2.5 years now. I love it. I used to be a dancer. I'm still a dancer. Of course, I'm still a dancer, but I don't currently perform or teach or do classes. It's just, you know, when I'm having actual proper hafla, you know, and weddings and stuff like that, I'll let loose a little bit, but we'll see if it comes back or takes a turn. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell, I guess.
Okay, and you already said two things that I feel are going to impact a lot of people. One is, what does getting your shit together actually mean in practical terms? Because it's a very trendy concept, and we all know we should be doing it somehow, but a lot of dancers don't know what that means. Yeah, what do you mean, getting my shit together? How does that look like? So that's one of the questions I had for you. And the other one, and I'm going to give you time to go through both of them, is we're going to tap a little bit into the masculine polarity that you mentioned, because as artists and creatives, it's very easy to fall into the trap of, I will work when I'm inspired, and I will do what's in my heart, and I will blah, 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 and then nothing materializes. Nothing comes to happen. Things don't move forward. You don't actually build stuff. So I would like to go into those two things with you, because I feel this is where a lot of people get lost. So first of all, how does that look like to get your shit together?
It's honestly, it's not about like, oh, building a fancy website or getting these systems together or getting like a domain. there's a lot you can do. Everybody does that. That's fine. But for me, it's really more of an inner confidence of knowing that what you have is worth something and taking it seriously, and then taking the actions in order to take it seriously. There's a million different ways to do things. None of them are right. None of them are wrong. It just has to work for your brain, but you have to take some strategic action on a daily basis in order to get said shit together. What that looks like for any given person is going to be different. Some people, it may mean like, oh, you do need to get the website together. For some people, it's like, okay, I need more visibility. Start a podcast. For other people, it may be showing up on social media. It may look like a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But for me, it's having the confidence to be, I want to do this thing and I am going to go after this thing to go get it. I'm not going to wait around for somebody to do it for me. I'm not going to wait around for somebody to bestow, oh, you're the best, most expert person at this. I'm going to go after it and get it and take it seriously and find the resources that you need in order to make that happen. Whether it's a business coach like myself, whether it's a web designer, whether it's, getting a brand shoot, whatever that is, it's having that clarity around, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to get it, and not giving up just because things don't happen in the first week or the first month, or hell, even in the first year. It's having that that attitude of, this is a long game and I'm going to keep going at it, even when it's really uncomfortable and even when it's really hard. So I think getting your shit together is really more of a mindset thing than it is like any particular behavior or any little checklist of like, oh, I did this, I did that, I did that. It's really just like your mindset of like, this is what I want. I know it. I like it. And I'm going to go for it regardless of what other people say. So that's my answer in a different way. I have a lot of answers that are like that. It sounds like it's going to be like a cut and dry, like, here's my 5-step process, but that's never what you get with me.
I understand. I absolutely understand. And it goes back to something that most of us lack, which is clarity. And what I also see is dancers have many ideas and they love to dance, and perhaps they love to teach or they love to perform, but it's not clear in their head. What is it exactly they have to offer? And if you're not clear about what is it exactly that you have to offer, what is that specific product or service or art that only you can create, I mean, something uniquely yours. I'm not saying better or worse than anyone at all. It's the opposite of better or worse. I mean, this is my thing. It's my juice, it's my identity, and it's my unique perspective on this subject. That's the kind of clarity most dancers don't have.
Nope, they don't. And it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because I get, I've worked with so many dancers at this point, and they're amazing dancers. I'm not talking shit about any of them. They're amazing dancers with so much to offer. But in this year, 2024, you cannot just say, I want to have online classes. Who cares? Who cares? Everybody has a platform. Everybody has workshops. Like, this is not new. Like, okay, maybe in 2015, if you wanted to start an online platform, you would have been early. You could have just get people coming in. But what do you want to do? You want to be a technician. Maybe you're a choreographer. Maybe you're a coach. Maybe you're folklore. Maybe you're symbols. Maybe there's so many different, you have to find that niche. And it can't just be like, oh, well, I want to do this because there's a need and I'm good at it. You have to feel passionate about it. And this is like, for people at home looking to get into this is an exercise I do with all my clients, which is, we've all been to those festivals that have like 2 tracks, right? Where you can take different classes at the same time. Like, there's whatever. So I want you at home to imagine you are slotted at 10 a.m. first thing in the morning to teach a workshop. And then there's a A-list star dancer, famous, whatever we want to use for it, teaching on the same topic at the same time. How are you going to differentiate your workshop from theirs without disparaging the other dancer? You can't say, oh, well, they're this, and oh, well, I took a workshop with them before. You can't do that. That's bad marketing, right? But how are you going to make yourself stand out? What makes your ability to teach shimmies different than somebody else? What makes your take on folklore different than somebody else? What makes your idea of a entrance piece a good one versus somebody else? Like, you have to have opinions. And so many people, especially dancers, are so afraid of having opinions and so afraid of standing out, but that's actually why they're blending into the crowd. And that's why they're forgettable and unmemorable. And maybe you're, you know, locally famous, or you have like your little community, but that's why they don't expand any bigger, is because they play it safe.
I would like to dive a little bit deeper into the masculine polarity. Now, I am going to make a disclaimer. I believe that most of us, myself included, we have been indoctrinated, perhaps not in the best way, to be more masculine than men themselves. I speak for myself. When I started to study Egyptian dance, one of the most challenging things that I had to do was to discover what the feminine was about and how I would reawaken it in me, because I was so well trained in pursuing and doing and making it happen and discipline and structure and, you know, and I'm still like that at heart. I'm a masculine woman. The feminine does not come easy to me. And that is where I find most of us are, fortunately or unfortunately. I'm not even saying it's a positive or negative
It's just
thing.
a thing.
It's just a thing, exactly. But I agree with you that when we're talking about getting things done, whatever that looks like for each one of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
The masculine has to come to the surface, and we have to stop whining and talking about inspiration and getting to a very different mindset that allows us to understand what we're doing, what we need to be doing, and getting it done. And it's not getting it done when we feel like it or when the moon is full.
100%, 100%.
It's when you need to do it. That's it. There is a dry, practical side of the masculine that I feel we're missing. So I would like you to go a little bit more into that side, specifically for dancers who want to work professionally in the field. What would be, from the masculine polarity, a few qualities that we probably should develop? And I don't like the word should that much, but in this case, I think it applies. What is it? Is it the capacity for action? Is it structure? Is it working with our head in the sense that we need to know what is it that I do, and I need to be able to put it into words and present it to people in a way they can understand. What the hell is she presenting? What is she offering me? Right? People have to understand it. So it's not enough to do it by instinct. I've been doing it all my life. Yeah, good for you. But now how do you present it to people, right? This is the big challenge, and it's not easy, right? How do you present something that you probably do intuitively even?
Right. This is so difficult for many people. Even myself, it's still, I have to fight that demon of like, well, people should just know me. They should just know what I do. And it's like, this is actually kind of a form of entitlement if you think about it, because it's like, people are busy. We're all the stars of our own movie. We're all, you know, we're all headlining our own little life story, right? And so it's, once I realized that kind of attitude of like, no, I have to meet people halfway. If you're on a bridge and you want to help people, you can't just be like, hey, I'm over here. Here's the way. You actually have to get on the bridge and meet them halfway. And so once I realized that was sort of an entitlement on my side, I decided I'm just going to get better at talking about myself, even though it's uncomfortable. So I think it is a matter of structure, but it doesn't need to be the masculine 24/7 structure, right? We know that like men's hormones are like on a 24-hour clock. That's why it's like our world is set up the way it is. We can't fight it, but if we're working for ourselves, like for me, I have structure, but it's more on like a monthly basis. And so it's structure. It doesn't look, it's a feminine structure, but it's still a structure. So it's like, for me, I know during my cycle, I'm out. Like I try not to schedule any calls. Like I know that I'm going to be getting the bare minimum done, and I let myself rest because that's what I need. But then the other 3 weeks of the month, it's go time, right? Like, and I have different tasks for different, I'm not super precious about it. Like, oh, I'm in my luteal phase. So I'm going to like, no, I just know that like, I want to do things on a more holistic monthly thing. But if I don't have that structure, that's when I flounder. I'm just like, whatever, I'll just do it whenever. And that's not when you make money. We're here to make money. And so I think that's what people have to remember is like, how do you implement some of that masculine stuff? You go back to your core values. What are you doing this for? And if that's not inspiring you, you may not be doing the right thing. There's so like, I really personally, I thought that I wanted to be on the workshop circuit and get all these accolades and travel around and teach and whatever. The professional gig scene was out for me. I knew that that was fine, but I wanted to play. And then I realized that's not actually what I want. And so if you have to do that deep. And I think this is pretty feminine, reflective work actually, but it's having the masculine honesty and directness with yourself to pull in. So it's having structure. It's doing things that you don't like to do, even though they have to get done because your vision is greater than the temporary discomfort. It's confident. It comes down to confidence. Is things that you said you're going to do, what you're going to do, that confidence with yourself. And so yes, it is structure. It's structure, but it's also just, it's having, this is going to sound really bad and maybe people are going to come cancel me for this, but it's like, it's having a little bit of that daddy energy with yourself. Like, get up off the couch, go write that post. Get up off the couch, you need to do your bookkeeping. Just because but then you can have that feminine grace of like, you know what? I do my bookkeeping after I've had my period because I'm not going to get emotional about it. You know what I mean? It's like you can fit it around your lifestyle, but it's a balance with everything, right? It's that delicate balance. And when you're veering into one side versus the other, I know when I'm too in my masculine energy, things don't come to me because I'm so focused and I'm so driven and I'm pounding and I'm like, and I know this is the time I need to go for a walk. I need to go look at some art. I need to read a good book that has nothing to do with business. I need to create, I need to play around with my graphic design just to have fun. Like, I know that. I know when I shift either two. And so I think really more than anything, it's about self-awareness and really having those check-ins with yourself. I don't care if it's journaling for you. I don't care if it's yoga, tapping, therapy, whatever, but having that like very self-awareness of like, I'm going one side or the other is really, really key, because if you don't have that, you're going to struggle on either side. There's a reason we're made the way that we're made,
How I usually put it to students, and I have an entire section dedicated to the polarities, feminine and masculine, in my signature course. There is we cover it in depth, right? I mean, how do I develop my feminine and my masculine so that they can work as a team? So it's not like I'm going to go on one side or on the other, because as you said, it's all about balance. And there are certain things for which I need my intuition, I need my flow, I need my instinct, I need my emotion, I need to let go. And the masculine won't do that job. And I have to know when to activate one and when to activate the other and work with both the best that I can. And I agree with you, when we lean too much into one or the other, we have to watch out and say, okay, back to the middle, as close as we can get to the middle between one and the other, that sweet spot where there is action, but there is rest. There is thought process, but there is feeling, right? There is structure, but there is chaos. That sweet spot, that in between place, right? I mean, trying to get there as much as possible most of the time. That's how I usually see it and how I usually teach it. And it's important for the dance practice and for our life, for everything, basically. Now, I want to go back a little bit. Before marketing, you were a passionate dancer. What made you fall in love with Egyptian dance? I mean, can you go back to the exact moment when you were struck by it when you felt not only attracted or interested, but, oh my God, I would love to be involved with this? Can you remember that moment and how it was like?
Honestly, I have to say it was my first class. It was my first class with my first instructor, who I still love to this day. Um, it's when I heard this warm-up music, and like I'm a really tall, big girl, right? And she was so short and so tiny, but even just doing the warm-up with this music that she had, I can still hear it in my head. And I was always somebody who was very disconnected from my body. I was like not athletic. Like I was not one of those dancers who grew up as a ballerina and jazz, tap, ballet. That was not my experience. You know, I was very nerdy. I'm extroverted, but I like to stay at home and read books. Like very disconnected. And I just remember like, this feels so good. Like it feels so, this feels so good to move this way. And the music was so interesting to me. Like my dad was a musician, so I grew up hearing, you know, Western jazz music or whatever. And just like something about the music hit me. And it was like from the first day of class, and this is just my personality too. Like I dive headfirst into things. I don't half-ass stuff. Like when I'm in, I'm in. Like I took that first class, and then like really within the week, I was taking 3 classes a week. It was just like, I was reading the website. What does it take to be a professional? Like how many, you know, like what's ATS versus Egyptian versus fusion? Like I had no idea, but I was like this sponge just absorbing it, because it was just like, it was so different. And like the way it was presented to me, like I went to a very good established school in the Midwest. I went to the Cassandra School in Minneapolis. And so they were like very serious, very dedicated, very culturally aware. And so it was just like, for me, having that international background, before that, I had lived in China for 5 years. And so it was just like, I am one of those people who hyper focuses, and I have a special interest. And I was just like, this is so cool. And I'm also like kind of a ham. I like to perform. I like attention. Like I like interacting with people. I'm charismatic. Like it was just, yeah, it was it. And then I had a friend who was married to a guy who had grown up in the Emirates, and she had some like CD, and it was like Arabic women's music, just like pop songs or whatever. And like we would listen to it, and we were both white girls, even though she was like married to this Emirati guy. And like we would just have fun, and it just made sense to me. It just clicked. It was like, I wish I had a better explanation, but that's really what it was for me. It was right place, right time, right vibe, right moment. And it was just like, I was done. I was done. It was fun. In a world, like when you're an adult, it was like a way to learn and have fun at the same time. And then like I did have that community around me. I did make good friends. I had friends who 15 years later came to Egypt, you know, for my wedding, you know, who I met in that first belly dance class. So it was like, I know it's corny, that sisterhood thing, and I know it's not the standard by any means. Like, we know it can be a toxic cesspool out there, but like for me, I did make lifelong friends, and that was after living abroad. Like that was important. And so it was just like, it was just a culmination. And just Egyptian music just hits different, man. Like Egyptian music is it. Like I don't know what else to say than that. Egyptian music is the best. So it all came together for me.
How did it feel in your body?
It felt like a release. It felt like it was very meditative for me, because I'm really one of those people who has like a gajillion things going on in their brain all the time. But when I was in dance class specifically, couldn't think about anything else. And it just felt like this release of like everything that was going on in my head. Like it was just, and it just felt relaxing. I know that sounds weird, but it feels relaxed. It just felt relaxing. It felt natural and relaxing, and like, yeah, yeah.
It is hard for most dancers to put it into words, right? And I always ask this question, when and how did you fall in love with it? Because I'm genuinely curious, right? Because I try to find words to describe what is Egyptian dance, and I've been into it for such a long time and so deep in my work in Egypt, around the world, it's hard for me, even for me, and I'm usually good with words, but it's hard for me to put into words what is it exactly that makes it so addictive, so special? What is the void that it fills? Because there is a void that it fills,
100%.
right? And
100%.
it's hard to find the words to express it, to tell it to outsiders, as I call them, people who are not involved with it. They ask, but what makes it so special? It's hard if you haven't experienced to put it into words, right?
100%. Like, I think it's that void. This is very existential, but it's like, it's that void that lives in all of us, right? It's that, like, is it the God hole? Is it, what's our reason for being here? Like, some people turn to kind of negative things, drinking, drugs, gambling, whatever, but there's positive ways to fill that kind of emptiness.
Yes.
And I do think that Egyptian dance is one of them. I can't speak for other dance forms. I'm not one of those dancers who did Baz, Jalet, whatever, all the other things, or as much as I would love to say I love other forms, I don't know a lot. I've watched flamenco. I feel it with flamenco a little bit by watching it. Like, there's something there. There's that addictive quality because there's so much, there's fire in it, and it's just, I think it fills that emptiness we kind of all have as humans in a little bit more productive, creative of a way.
Let's not forget the origins of Egyptian dance. So this is arguable because history or registered history is relatively recent, but Egyptian dance is considered the most ancient dance form existed or known to mankind. It's supposedly coming from a ritualistic format related with fertility. Actually, in Egypt, as you know, there are still superstitions related to this. So in a wedding, the bride and the groom will still have traditionally the Oriental dancer, Raqasa, coming, performing, and they will photograph themselves with their hands on the womb of the dancer for fertility and happiness for the couple. So there are other traditions, like in Morocco, I don't know if you know about this, it's still used some form of raqs sharki in labor. So women still use Oriental dance moves while they're giving birth. This still happens.
I mean, look at everything that it does with the pelvic floor and how you have to be in touch with those muscles. Like, there's a reason, like human evolution, we do things for reasons that we don't even realize anymore. Like, it's because it's so far down the line. It's like, why don't people drink so much tea? Well, because you have to boil water to make sure there's no impurities in it. Like, it's such a no-brainer, but it's just like, why does that exist? Like, people in China say, oh, you don't drink cold water, it's bad for your stomach. Okay, well, they have some, Chinese traditional medicine, but at the end of the day, you don't know where your water is coming from. You better boil it to make sure all the bacteria or whatever the hell is in there. And so, again, of course, like, I know there's that big controversy. Oh, it's not a fertility dance, blah, blah, blah. Okay, nobody's saying it's a fertility dance, but, like, let's look at the muscles involved. It's primarily a dance. Like, it.
Exactly. There is a religious tone to it in the truest sense of the word, not religious in the sense that we came to understand religion, but in the truest sense of the word, which is religare. So religion comes from the Latin religare, which means to reconnect. There is a reconnection with something within. You may call it whatever you want, a kind of God or soulfulness or heart or whatever, we can find many names for something which is probably unnameable. But it is a fact that Egyptian dance, if you really go deep into it, And if you are fully present, as you should, it will fill some kind of void. And it is beautiful and it is so addictive, and again, so hard to describe to people who have not experienced it. Now, that will take us to Egypt, or the reason why you went to Egypt. You live in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
You married an Egyptian man, and I suppose an Egyptian family, because that happens when you marry an Egyptian man.
Yes, my mother-in-law is in the next room right now.
Of course they are. Taban, of course. How do I know? Okay. So, what took you to Egypt, first of all, and how would you describe living in Egypt? I already know that you love it. You mentioned it. But what brought you there, and what makes it so special, so different from USA, for instance?
So yeah, I had been here once. The first time I came was in 2019. And it was the typical dancer trip. I came on a festival, go see the pyramids, whatever. But I loved it. It was amazing. The same trip, I also went to Turkey. I went to Turkey and then I came to Egypt. I came back again in 2021. I was in Turkey for 6 weeks then. And then I came to Egypt for 3 weeks. And honest answer, midlife crisis. Like, total midlife crisis. I was not happy at home. I was not happy with my circumstances. By 2021, I had dipped my feet into the entrepreneurial existence. And I was like, something has to change. I can't keep doing what I'm doing. I had lived abroad before. I had lived in China for 5 years in my 20s. So I kind of went to Turkey and Egypt, like on a little bit of a recon trip. I was actually torn. Do I want to go to Turkey or do I want to go to Egypt? Because I love Istanbul. It's beautiful, beautiful country. Like, I love Turkish people. I love Turkish food. It's great. It was a toss up between Turkey and Egypt. So I came on a recon trip and I was like, you know what? It's Egypt for me. I had more people here. I don't speak Arabic, but Arabic was easier for me to grasp than Turkish was by any means. Cairo, as chaotic as it is, and people are going to laugh at me when I say this, it's easier to get around in Cairo than Istanbul. Like, the traffic in Istanbul, God forbid, if you ever want to go from the European side to the Asian side, good luck. You're in the car for 3 hours. And so, yeah, I came here, I was building my business. It's hard at first, nobody hands you a check with $100,000 and says, oh, here, go build a business. No, you have to save. And, I saved my money. I left home, and, the cost of living in Egypt, you can't compare it. Like, when I can live here very, very affordably, and, I'm in my 40s now. Like, I have to save for retirement. Like, doing that and building a business in America, it's not tenable for me, for the lifestyle that I want. It's not tenable. And so I came here. I have good friends here. I love living here. And how do I find it? I love living here. By the way, I did not come here to get, because I had somebody here to get married to. I found him months and months and months after, and it was like, oh, now I'm here, I guess. Awesome. Because a lot of people think it was the other way around. Oh, you married an Egyptian. So
they usually do. Yeah, there is always the narrative that goes around for some reason.
Oh, especially with dancers too. It's like,
yes.
And it's so funny because I'm like, my husband does not work in a club. He is not a musician. He does not. I bring him to festivals to go see friends of mine dance, and he's like, what the hell is this? He is just like horrified, to be honest. But he's a marketing director. He went to Cairo University. He's like the most normal person you'd ever meet. And but yeah, I stayed, and I love living here. And look, Egypt is not without its problems. It is not a perfect place to live by any stretch of the imagination. It can be a very frustrating place. Ask me about it. I'm building a business right now, and we have Egyptian contractors. I'll talk to you about that another time. It can be a very frustrating place to live. But the frustrations, look, the pros of living in America are the cons of living in Egypt. The cons of living in America are the pros of living in Egypt. It's just You just pick your poison, because there's no perfect place. And right now the poison I'm picking is the Egyptian poison. I love how close we are to my husband's family. And like I said, my mother-in-law's in the next room. She just brought us a turkey for Thanksgiving. She just did her shopping and she's like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. Katie needs a turkey. Brought me a turkey. He has very close-knit friends. I have amazing friends here. It's so easy to get together with people. There's none of this like, oh, well, I'll be available next Tuesday at noon if you want to have a 1.5 hour lunch. It's like, I'm bored tonight. Yalla, you want to go to the hour? Well, like, it's like, let's go out. You know, you don't have to do, and people care about you. When I first moved here, I had some contacts and I was by myself. And, you know, I kind of have this, like, I'm an independent woman. I don't need no man. But I need a phone card to recharge my phone card. I can call somebody and have it done. I can, if I got sick, I know any of my Egyptian friends would be here in 2 seconds with soup. Like, I need help finding an apartment. All my friends are there to help. Like, there's this, like, it's really living in that, like, communal society. You know, America is so, like, individualistic, which I appreciate and I love, and I'm a very independent person. But there gets to be a time where it gets lonely and tiring and isolating. And if you're feeling shitty, you can feel shitty for like a maximum of a day if you have Egyptian friends and family, because they're going to take your ass out of the house. They're going to bring you out to eat. They're going to, like, make you go shop. They're going to get you out of the house. And, like, it's like, you know, malish, shit happens, you know, like, get out and have fun. It's like, it's that sense of humor. And, like, my Arabic is by no means fluent, but, like, Egyptians are so funny.
They are.
They're so funny. They
Yes.
don't think, they don't take things so seriously. Nothing is the end of the world here. Like, I really got tired of that, like, kind of American mentality of, like, oh, everything sucks, it's horrible. And it's like, you have people living here on $200 a month. And it's like, oh, there's a wedding, let's go have fun. Oh, it's your birthday, let's get a cake. Like, it's like there's this enjoyment, you know, of life, and just, you know what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. And it's just, I think it's so much more healthy. It's so much more healthy. And like I said, there's shit here that frustrates me. Like Egyptian time, that does not fly with me. Like that does not fly with me. Like I know.
Like, you know what I call it? The timeless time of Egypt.
Inshallah time.
Inshallah. You never know. You have to surrender to the adventure of not knowing if it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. It's nerve-wracking. Yeah, I understand, but I totally get what you mean. And there are so many things I don't like in Egypt and how people relate to each other. And there are so many things that I find so precious. And some of them you mentioned, you know, there is this sense of community, of people connecting with each other effortlessly. It's not a big deal, you know, to be with each other. It's not a big deal. It's the normal thing. Yeah, people make time for each other, and they have time to celebrate even if they don't have much, which is incredible. You know, I remember that when I moved, I was initially shocked, and I have to confess, a little bit annoyed even. Why are they so much having fun and cracking jokes? You should be depressed, man. Why are you so in a good mood? Where is that coming from? Are you delusional? I found it so strange and even annoying. Imagine, like, why are they having so much fun all the time? You know, you don't know if you're going to have bread to put on the table tomorrow, but you're still enjoying yourself. And of course, I was coming from Europe, very serious, very heavy, very So with time, I learned to appreciate that, and I learned to see it for what it really is. And it is so beautiful. I love that you mentioned that. Yeah, there is a beautiful side of community living that Western countries have lost. We don't have that anymore. Yeah. And we could learn from each other.
I mean, 100%. Like, and even though, like, you know, I'm Christian on paper, right? You know, because I'm married, you know how it is here. There's values here. You know what I mean? That, like, America has gone so far away from. And again, I'm not saying, oh, you have to go to church or you have to pray your 5 times or whatever. Like, I'm not saying that, but there's kind of a humbleness here of like, it's not in my hands. Like, as much as inshallah can be like so annoying, on the other hand, you can't control everything. Like, Americans, Westerners, we want to control everything. And is that healthy? And there's also like, I wrote a post about this. I have to redo it, but it's like the 3 words you need for living in Egypt: inshallah, mashallah, bismillah. Like, because some of it, sometimes you have talent, but you don't know where that talent came from. Whether that was God, the universe, energy, whatever you want to call it. Some people just have an energy and a talent, and you know what? Have some humbleness to know that like some of the things that you may have in this life are just God-given for whatever reason. They're from something else. They're from somebody else. And I think that's what I mean. Like, when I say people are religious here, it's like a reverence for something outside of themselves. It's just like, yeah, yes, is it annoying sometimes? But yeah, you don't have control over everything. You don't have power over everything. And that's okay.
There is a lot to be said about, inshallah. Most foreigners who have lived in Egypt or live in Egypt, they complain about it because, of course, that can be used for passivity and a lack of personal responsibility. Like, okay, nothing is under my control, so what the hell? I'm not going to show up and do my job. That is true, but there is another side, and I agree with you. Another side of that mentality and of that concept that not only reminds us that we don't have control over everything, but it also reminds us of the magic and the trust that perhaps many of us have lost in life. Egyptians, and I speak about Muslims specifically, they trust that life itself, Allah, Yani God, whatever you might like to call it, is running the show. And that is why you don't control everything, because there is a manager, a superior, who is managing the show. So yes, you play your part, but there are a lot of decisions that are not on your hands. So you can relax, you can let go, and you can enjoy life and trust that things will happen as they're supposed to be. That leads us to another concept of maktub, yani it is written, the concept of destiny, the concept of what God wants, right? It's very hard for Westerners to understand that because we come from a place of, I decide what's going to happen. I make it happen. I have the power. And I'm not saying that acknowledging you have some sort of power is bad. No, quite the opposite. I do believe that we have personal power, but we don't control everything. There is a lot that is not in your hands, and that is a fact. You just have to observe. Just observe it. Observe, live for a bit and observe, and you will see that there is a sense to it. And if we surrender control a little bit, then perhaps we can enjoy ourselves a little bit more.
It's the balance that we're talking about before. Yes, some people take inshallah to be like, yeah, like you said, I'm just going to sit back. God will handle it. I'm not going to do shit. Super frustrating.
Yeah.
But then again, on the other side, you have, I control everything done. And it's like, okay, no, you don't. Like, chill out. Like, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You can't control what's happening in another, like, so again, the balance. I'm going to do my, and this is what I tell my clients, put in the work and trust the process. But like, again, and that, easier said than done, of course, but it's been a lot more easy for me. I have so much humility living here. I have so much compared to so many people who have so little. So it's like that, like, I just remind myself, I'm doing what I can. I'm putting in the work, and alhamdulillah, like I have a roof over my head. I have a wonderful family here in Egypt and here in the States. Like, could things be better? Absolutely. Could things be worse? 100%. So alhamdulillah, like, I'm doing what I can. The rest is written for me. Like, I can't control everything. I can't make people buy from me. I can't, why? I'll outsource that. I'm happy outsourcing some stuff to God, and I'm happy outsourcing things to my online business manager that I don't want to do. It's kind of the same concept, right? Like, do what you can, control what you can, and just like, life is fun. We're only here for a little while, like, why sit and stress so much? And that's my big thing about living in Egypt versus America is I couldn't take the stress anymore and just how miserable people are who have so much. It was just like, it's exhausting to be around. It's like, it's kind of it's an energy, you know, it's like a collective energy vampire that just like sucks at you after a while. And like, I feel so much lighter.
So this will take us into another curiosity of mine. During all the time I lived and performed in Egypt, although my world was very much populated by men because I was performing, so basically I was performing, rehearsing, preparing to rehearse, recovering. My world was very limited in a way, you know, because of the work. But I met a few Egyptian women who changed me completely. And I don't mean Egyptian dances. I mean common Egyptian women, right? I mean friends of friends, an assistant, someone who came to my home for something and then became my friend, you know. And I fell in love with Egyptian women for everything they are, for their loyalty as friends, the concept of sorority, which is now so trendy. I learned it in Egypt and I learned the meaning of it in Egypt. And I was curious to know, considering that you're married to an Egyptian, so you have access to aunts and mothers and grandmothers and cousins, what is like to be surrounded by Egyptian women? And is there something interesting you have learned from them?
They're so much more practical than American women. Like, they're very unapologetic about their expectations out of life and their partners and their job. Like, there's no shame in it at all. I mean, an American woman, you can never imagine an American woman being like, yeah, my husband better make all the money because I'm going to stay at home and have kids. And that's my job. Like, you, like, and Egyptian women have no shame about it. They're like, that's my job. But they're very unashamed of what they want or how to get it. And there's like how do I put this? There's an acknowledgement that men and women are different. There's not this need to be like, yes, of course, some women are career driven. And I love that. Like, go for it, go get married, you know, don't get married, have a career, whatever. But like, even like with those like more independent, it's like, I am a woman. This is what I do. This is what I feel. And it's like, there's none of this like confusion, you know, it's like, it's just, they know who they are and they know what they want. And that's okay. Whereas I feel like Western women have like a lot of shame around this about like, you know, do I want to be a stay-at-home? Like, everything's so convoluted and messy in their heads. Whereas Egyptian women are just like, this is how it is. And so I think, and because of that unapologeticness, I really find that they are able to ask for what they want. Like, we all have that experience of like going to like the nail shop and getting your nails done and you don't quite like it, but you don't want to say anything. You're like, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to hurt their feelings. Like, they did the best they could. No, Egyptian women do not put up with that shit. They're like, no, I want you to fix this like tiny little smudge right here. Like, and they'll be on you. And it's like, I think it's Gamda. Like, it's just like, for like, I love it because it's just like, no, this is not what I want. They have no problem sending food back if they don't like it. They have no problem. Like, they're the ones bossing the household. Any Egyptian man will tell you that the wife is the boss of the household. There's like all these Western concepts, especially around Islam, about how women don't have any rights and they have to do this, that, or the other thing. If you meet any normal, non-extremist, average, everybody will say the woman is the one running the show in the family. She's the one, you know, making things happen. The men, their job is to make the men think it's their idea, but in the reality, they're the ones in the background getting stuff done and making things happen and pulling it all together. So I think, yeah, just being more unapologetic about what I want and being okay, like just being okay with who I am is really what I've gotten with my experiences with Egyptian women. Like, no, you can be you can be bossy and ask for what you want. And like, that's normal. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to play this like shy, demure, whatever. Like, Like
Yeah.
yeah.
The question of power, who is in power, is a huge discussion, and it's a very controversial theme, because there are many definitions of power and many contexts
Exactly.
of power. The public arena in Egypt and the legal system is definitely run by men. In the domestic household, they're the ones calling the shots, very frequently through manipulation and
Oh,
other strategies, not
mhm.
openly, not in the
Uh-huh.
open, in an indirect,
Yes.
manipulative way. And I'm not saying this with judgment, I'm not judging, I'm not saying
No,
it,
it just,
I like it or not. It is what it is. But there is so much more to be said about Egyptian women and how they live than what the West wants to make of it, because we just want to label it and simplify it. So they're the victims and
yep,
they're in this shelf. That's it. That's how they live, and they're oppressed, and that's it. Because
yeah,
it's simpler to organize the information,
yep,
and the reality is so much more complex, and the dynamics of power in Egyptian society are so complex.
yeah,
And it will depend on your social class. It will depend on the family itself. I mean, there are many variations and different tones to the theme.
mhm,
I absolutely love them. I think they are the best examples of loyal friends. I
mhm,
have never met such loyal friends
mhm.
as Egyptian women. For some reason, I never got to understand. I don't know. I suppose there must be a connection between that and sexual segregation. So women live a
Ah,
lot amongst women, and men live a lot amongst
yeah,
men in the
yeah,
Middle East and North of Africa. That's culturally how it happens. So
yep,
maybe that's one of the reasons why women tend to be so maternal towards each other. They're maternal,
yeah,
take care of you like a substitute mother. I never found that where I come from. And that really showed me what a female friend could be.
yeah, 100%. Like my sister-in-law, oh my God, bless her heart. She's amazing. Like anything I'm stressed out about, anything, you know what I mean? We talk, we go on vacation together. I love her. She's amazing. And it's just like, especially given, like, I mean, I'm American, but I lived in China, but it's like, that's really one thing about like a foreigner coming to Egypt and you get married here. And, if it's a real marriage, not just like a convenience thing or whatever,
Yes.
like you can be adopted into society here very easily. And I don't know where else that can happen. I don't know if it's because Egypt's been occupied so many times, like they're used to foreigners, or like what it is, but it's just like people here, it's just like, okay, when you're in, you're in. You don't need to speak Arabic. You don't need to be Muslim. You don't need, like, you're one of us now. Like we're taking you in. Like, and that's the feeling that I have gotten across gender, male or female, family or friend or acquaintance or whatever. It's like, okay, you're American, cool, yeah, no problem. It's like it's just such a non-issue, and it's really lovely. I just really I love it, and
And
so
still,
I'm very
and still
blessed with
they preserve
that.
their culture and identity, which is amazing. I was always,
Yes,
I was always,
yeah,
shocked how a country can be so integrative. As you were saying, it invites you in. And it's very
mm-hmm,
easy, if you want to, if you're open
mm-hmm,
for it, it's very easy to 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 melt into the society. But at the same time, they
yeah,
welcome you, but
mm-hmm,
they don't change who they are to please you. They don't change what they do and how they do
exactly,
it to fit you and your expectations. They invite you in,
yeah,
and they're exactly as they've always been.
yeah,
And
take it or
this
leave it.
is, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And it is amazing. Now, let me jump
It was
back
so
into
funny.
marketing. Let's go into
Oh, go ahead,
marketing
go
a
ahead.
little bit more.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I'm going to speak for myself. I'm terrible at it. I learn about it because I have to since I launched my school 4 years
Oh,
ago. Suddenly
oh,
what I did intuitively, I had to present to the world, right? I mean, I have to give it
yeah,
names. I had to explain what I did and the benefits of what I did and why people would be interested. That was very hard for me. So I can relate when dancers feel resistant to marketing and sales, because I'm resistant to marketing and sales. I'm resistant to it. And I do it every day, right? Is there a way of falling in love with it? Or are artists meant to hate it forever and complain about it forever and do it because they have to do it, but they never warm up to it? Is there a way to fall in love with marketing and sales, do you think?
I think when you see, I think it's one of those things where it's like the action, the results. Once you see the results, you'll fall in love with the actions. But the actions are not going to make you want to do it. Like, do I even want to post on social media every day? Hell no. That's literally my job and I don't want to do it. I'm not inspired to do it. But you know what I do like seeing? I like seeing my bank account. Like, I like, but even more than that, I like helping the people that I help. I love being on calls with my clients. I love transforming their lives. Like, I know what I do has such power and like such influence on people that it's like, nobody likes waking up and brushing their teeth. When was the last time you heard somebody said, wow, I can't wait to wake up and brush my teeth? You just do it. You just do it. Like, it's just one of those things. So I think number one, realizing that you don't have to love marketing, but you better make friends with it is a good way to go. But then number two is that understanding that your marketing does not have to look like what you think marketing looks like. And then once you find your groove, and once you find out the format you want to say it in, the way you want to present it, there's a million different ways of marketing. You can go with email, social media, you can build a funnel, you can have a podcast. Like, once you find your thing that you love with, like, the marketing kind of takes care of itself. Like, I don't recommend my clients put a lot of work into Instagram if they hate Instagram. Why are we going to do that? Okay, maybe we'll throw up, 2 posts a week because we have to kind of have the real estate set up. But like you have a podcast. Awesome. Great. Let's get you onto some other podcasts. Let's make sure you're branding. Let's come up with 3 things that you want to message about so you can start talking to other people on other podcasts. Like, once you realize it doesn't have to be this like very dry social media post about 3 tips you have to do or an email list and it's like all dry and corporate, like, it doesn't need to be like that. And once you realize that, you may not have to love marketing, but you can, like, I love talking about what I do. I love being on this podcast. I've been excited to do this podcast for 2 weeks. This is marketing for me. I'm marketing myself. I'm talking about myself, and it comes naturally and easy to me. I didn't have to sit on Canva or my website or whatever, like, but this opportunity came to me because of the email marketing that I do. The social, you wouldn't know who I was if I didn't post, right? And so it's just like, you don't have to love it, but figure out what you do like doing and leverage it that way. That's the best way to become more comfortable with it. And then once you see the results that your clients, your students are getting, once you see your bank account growing and you're getting the visibility and the recognition, then it becomes a lot less hard. Like, I know if I take a month off of social media posting, maybe I need it for my mental health or I'm going on vacation or whatever. I know in advance that I'm going to expect an income dip, and that's okay. That's okay. But I know that my actions have those results. And once you can, again, it's stepping into that masculine, stepping into that scientific, stepping into the objectiveness and being like, you know what? It's a pro and a con. You know what? I need a month off. I'm taking a month off. I know what's going to happen and I know how to come back from it. And once you can kind of step into that, marketing gets so much easier. There's basic rules. There's basic rules of marketing. You know them. I know you've read a million books. Detail the transformation and tell them what they can tell them the benefits, not just the few. There's basics. Learn the basics. It's just like dancing. You have to have the technique. You have to have the basics, but then make it your own. It's the exact same. It's the exact same as anything else.
And find a way to enjoy it. Find a way to enjoy it. Otherwise, you will not do it consistently. What I notice is that Sometimes people put the effort into it. And as you said, they go very dry and they say, okay, is this what I got to do? Okay, I'm going to do it. But there's suffering and there is no fun involved. And invariably,
Yeah,
they stop doing it altogether because nobody can
exactly.
sustain pain for a long time. That's not doable.
Nope.
We can sustain it for a short time, but not consistently. And if you're trying to put your dance out there, you're going to need consistency. So one of the questions that we may like to ask is, how do I make this fun? I ask this question myself all the time because I have to do it all the time, and there must be pleasure involved. So I ask myself, how can I make this fun? How can I trick myself into loving this? Otherwise,
Exactly.
it's going to be hard to keep it up. Now, imagine that a dancer wants to put herself or himself out there. What could be their first steps? Where do they start? Let's launch this way. How do they start?
You have to define the goal. What's the goal? Do you want more, like, because I think in the belly dance community especially, there's not enough of this understanding of the gig world versus the teaching world versus the festival scene. They're different things altogether. If you're in the gig world, easy, get videos of you gigging and put them out there. like that there's nothing more simple than that, because we know the gig industry is its own beast. We know what people are looking for. Sorry, like there's a reason you see the videos that you see. You know what you have to do if you want to be a gigging dancer. You can't put up a video of you practicing in your studio in your 10-year-old sweatpants if you expect to get gigs that are going to pay you $500. It doesn't work like that. So what are you doing that for? Put up professional videos of you gigging. You might have to invest in a videographer. You might have to invest in an editor, but you got to put money into it. Now, that's boring to me. Like, I think that's so easy. Like, I think that's a no-brainer. If you want to be a teacher, what is your goal? You want in-person classes? You want online classes? Do you have visibility yet? If you have visibility yet, then it's time to start making yourself known for something specific. We said this earlier. It's not enough to just be a good dancer. I wish it was. I'm so sorry. I wish it was enough to be a fabulous dancer, but there's a million fabulous dancers out there. What makes you unique? What makes you different? And how do you articulate that to your students? That's what you need to be posting about. And again, when I say posting, I don't mean Instagram or Facebook specifically. If you're a strong writer, write a blog. I love a blog. Have a blog that goes into an email list. Great. You want to tell stories, be a storyteller. You love making video content. How can you express what makes you unique in your video content? People are listening to 3-hour podcasts right now. It doesn't have to be short form. Find your platform and stick to it and give yourself a goal. I'm going to make 2 pieces of content a week. I'm going to make 1 piece of content. I'm going to make 5. If you're doing short form, you need quantity. If you're doing long form, you need quality, right? And figure out 20 different ways to say the same thing. And each one of those things can be a piece of content. If you have to go back to that beginner mindset. You may know Saidi up, down, backwards, and the other way, but how are you going to explain it to somebody who's never been to Egypt? How are you going to explain it to somebody who's never seen folklore? How are you going to explain it to a beginner? How would you explain it to an intermediate dancer? How would you explain it to an advanced dancer? Be so comfortable repeating yourself. You have to repeat yourself, and you have to find, like I said, you have to find a way to say the same thing in 20 different ways, because it takes people are not paying attention to you as much as you think they are. Again, we all think we're the star of our own show. We're all the big deal. And the truth is, in social media, on the internet, which is where we all are, people are scrolling. They're on their phone. And so why are you gonna put so much time and effort you have to repeat yourself. And so that's how you start. You just start out one day. What can I say today? Most of you listening to this, interested in building the business, you have to be visible. You don't just get visible overnight. You get it with consistency. You get it through networking. You get it by showing up and putting stuff out there, even when you think people aren't listening. You pay attention to what they're listening to and you double down on that. They didn't listen to something, time to change strategy. But when you find something that works, you double, triple, quadruple down on it, and you just slowly gain that momentum. And that's how you start. And like I said, I am not platform particular. Write a blog, get an email list, do a YouTube channel, make a podcast, go on LinkedIn. I don't know, like go on Twitter if you want. Like your people are there. And understanding, this is going to be the second thing, is if you want to get started, you have to understand who your ideal client is. Who do you want in your classes? Who do you want to coach? Who do you want to teach? Who are they and what do they want? And you need to speak to them. If you're looking to coach competition dancers, you need to give them the real actionable feedback that they need in order to become better competition dancers. Don't aim it toward a beginner. That's like, oh, the importance of practice. Okay, maybe that's great for the beginner who's like really enthusiastic, but like a competition dancer, she's already going to know she needs to practice. Maybe you need to make content that's like 3 ways to make your practice less fucking grueling or something. You need to speak to those people specifically, and you need to be okay leaving some people out. If you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. Your message gets lost, nobody gives a shit, and they're just going to scroll by. But when you have that moment of, oh my God, she's speaking to me, that's when people are going to start interacting with your stuff. When you make things that's relatable, people are going to start sharing it, and that's when things start getting to build up. And you have to have that long game. You have to be in it for the long haul. You can't just do something for a month, not see the results you want, and then throw in the towel. It doesn't work like that. So that was a long rant.
What I find, I totally get what you mean. And I find that it's important to pinpoint the issue of clarity once again. Why am I doing this? And what the hell am I doing? And for whom? And for what? And you would be shocked at how many dancers have no idea about those questions, and they just do it on automatic pilot, God knows why. Maybe because they love it. I love Egyptian dance, so I decided to teach, or I love Egyptian dance, so I decided to perform. Yeah, but that's not a professional mindset. There is something to be said about the difference between being an amateur, which is beautiful, and being a professional. Those are completely different realities and ways of thinking and ways of doing things. An amateur does whatever she or he likes because they love it. They're serving themselves.
And that's great.
It's great.
Some people shouldn't monetize their passion.
No, at all. But if they want to become professionals, and this is something I tell students who are transitioning from the amateur to the professional, right? So I have some of the courses at the school aimed at those advanced dancers. I have a professional mastermind that prepares them to launch their first course and performance. And I always tell them, now you got to serve yourself and serve somebody else. And instead of worrying only about what you want, what you like, what you feel, wonder, what do they need? What do they want? What do they feel? Because it's not only about you anymore. That's the amateur mindset. And again, nothing against it.
Nothing.
You know, it's beautiful. Most people who practice Egyptian dance, they're amateurs. They do it for their own benefit and pleasure. It's wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah. But that's not the way to go if you're trying to put some serious professional work out there. Then you have to get your head out of your ego and put yourself in the shoes of other people and genuinely wonder, how can I help them somehow? What is it that I can do that will benefit them, that will change them, that will impact them in a positive way? And have the humbleness and the generosity to answer that question, as opposed to, what do I want to do? What do I feel today? You know, that's wonderful, but that's not, again, how you help people and how you serve people, right? Now, let's dive a little bit into communication, which is a part of marketing and it is a part of presenting yourself and what you do. I love the way you communicate for different reasons. And one of them is the relatability. You have one thing that I notice right ahead, okay? And this is my feminine side. I am very sharp, very intuitive. So I see people, like an X-ray. And I notice right ahead, you had a natural intuition for what people wanted to hear and why and how they wanted to hear it. And you morph into that. You are relatable in your communication. What is it that makes a great communicator? What do you think? Is that relatability, or are there other qualities that make you exceptional at reaching your audience, whatever your audience may be?
I think for me, and in general, but I have never been a pretentious person. I've always been what you see is what you get. I'm very direct. It borders on offensive sometimes to certain people. I don't try to be clever. I don't try to be unique. I don't try to stand out. I say what it is that I want to say. But I also have a lot of empathy because I know especially women, there's a gajillion things we're conditioned. Don't be too loud. Don't be too much. Say things nicely. You don't want to hurt their feelings. Whatever reason, I did not get that conditioning from society or my parents. I am blessed. But I feel now it's my duty, and this is my service because it's not about me, but this is my service to have empathy for people, for women especially, who are raised under that conditioning and whatever, to be like, it's okay to be yourself. You can say what needs to be said because we think it has to be all up and flowered and zhuzhed up with all this fluffy words. That's not what people want. People want, there's so many ideas of what authenticity is, who can say what it is and what it isn't, but it's just, that's where I feel like that's why I'm a good communicator. And that's what I want people to understand about communication is like, say it the way you would to your best friend. Like if you can't explain it to your best friend in a way that she would understand, you need to go back. You need to go back because all attempts at being professional, or are there principles of copywriting? Absolutely. 100%. Are there principles of marketing? 100%. But at the end of the day, like, people buy from people they trust. And the easiest way for people to trust you is to say what you mean. And so I think like that's my communication thing, is just talk to people the way you would your best friend. You wouldn't tell your best friend, join me for an amazing evening of Raqs Shar'i entertainment. Say, hey, come to this belly dance show. I brought the best people from Egypt. We have the most amazing acts prepared. We have a variety of talents. Like, you just say it the way you want to say it. Say it the way you want to say it. It's not hard, but it's the mindset. It's unlocking that thing in your brain that like that lets you release, right? Like and learn some principles. Again, learn some copywriting principles along the way. Absolutely learn about messaging and what good messaging is. But at the end of the day, read it to yourself and be like, is this how I would text it to my best friend? If not, like, take it down a notch and don't try to be clever. So many people try to be clever, or like they try to stand out, and it's just like, it's like watching that beginner dancer in $1,000 Sahara Kasha costume. It's just like, it's kind of awkward to watch, and you're like, oh, bless her heart. That's sweet. Like, you don't have to be clever. People don't want to be clever. You are not Coca-Cola. You are not doing a, $100 million ad campaign. You're a solo entrepreneur. Simplify, make it easy to understand, and make it about the person that you're talking to. And this is like the biggest tip. Whenever you find yourself writing I, just switch it to you. Oh, I come from a background where I wasn't able to express myself in my body, and I felt so alone and felt so locked up. Okay, I know you came from a background where you weren't able to express yourself. Do you see immediately that shift? That shift of like, oh, wow, she gets me. Because your experience, the human experience is not unique. Like, there's like maybe like 10 different tracks we can go down, but people have shitty family members, people have been oppressed, people have dealt with economic, and like, we're all humans, we all deal with the same stuff. There's not that many, there's variations on a theme, but when you can lock it, when you can understand that anything that you've been through personally, your ideal client has gone through as well, that's where the magic happens. They feel seen and understood, and then just more likely to trust you.
Create closeness, no? Bring people close to you, by speaking honestly and with more simplicity, as you said, as if you were talking with your friend, right? That brings people close to you, and the good communication is connection, so you need that closeness. That's beautiful. Now, one last question on marketing, and of course this is an interest of mine, and I know it is an interest of so many dancers. What is it more important? Is it the delivery or the promotion? And I'm going to tell you why I'm asking you this. I have been a student of iconic dancers, Mahmoud Reda, Suher Zaki, Nagwa Fouad, Aza Sharif. I mean, legends that many dancers will only hear about. They will never have the chance to study with these people. And I do remember that, of course, I'm talking about Egypt and the Egyptian market. It's very specific. Nobody was promoting themselves, and there was not even a talk of promotion. Hell, while I was in Egypt, I never promoted myself because it's such a small market. People know who's dancing. They know where you are. And if they like you, they will hire you directly, Annie. There is no need to even think about marketing. So depending on where you're performing and what you're doing, you're going to need it or not. But for the ones who need it, right? I've often been in services, and I'm not only talking about dance classes or shows, who had been incredibly promoted. Oh my God, they sold it so well. And then the delivery is a disaster. And it's the first and the last time they catch me in it. And I feel robbed, I feel fooled, I feel like I lost my time, but I also wonder, wow, you are such a great seller, such a great salesman or saleswoman, but then the delivery ruins it completely. Where should most of our time and focus be, in your opinion? Is it on promotion or delivery? Because I know it takes time and effort. I know I dwell on that imbalance every day. Most of my time it's in delivery because thank God and thank to a lot of things, my agenda is full of work. So I don't have much time to wonder how am I going to promote or how, because I am already focusing on delivering what is running. But what I see in a lot of dancers trying to put their work out there is that it's very easy to fall into the mistake of, I want more people in, I want more sales, I want to bring more clients, I want to be hired, I want to call people's attention, I want to be seen, and then they forget the few clients they already have. And instead of astonishing their clients, the ones who hire them for dance gigs or their students, instead of putting most of their effort in satisfying and serving the ones who already invested in them, they get into the ambition, craze of, I want more people, I want this, I want to be known, I want. And they end up nowhere. So what would you tell a dancer? Where should be most of our time, work, focus, effort, inspiration? Because all of this takes time and work. I mean, we've been talking so lightly about it, but I mean, to create good content consistently, that's work. I don't know if people have the idea. Sometimes it's fun, but mostly it's work. you have to think strategically. You have to think, what do they need? What am I selling? What am I promoting? What am I doing? How is this going to serve them? All of that is work. You have to record eventually. You have to edit. You have to write. You have to choreograph. It's time that you take from your life. It doesn't fall from the sky, you know?
No.
So where should most of our focus be? In promoting ourselves and our dance, or in the delivery to the people who have already invested in us?
100% the delivery. I mean, look, you're going to go back and forth. Everything has phases. We were talking about this earlier. Everything has a phase and an up and a down. And I mean, to be honest with you, I've turned away dancers who wanted to work with me because I'm like, you're not at a place where you can be teaching yet. I've seen your videos. Come back to me in 2 years when you have your teaching down, because it's just, or I've had dancers who are like, I want to get more work in gigs, but it's like, sorry, we all know there's an aesthetic. I do believe there's a market for everybody, but at the end of the day, there's an aesthetic. I can't help somebody who doesn't have the aesthetic. Like, this is half the reason I'm out of the game. I don't have the aesthetic, and I didn't want to do the work to get there. And end of the story. For teaching, I'm fine. For doing ladies' party, I'm fine. But you want to ask me why I quit? I'm not going to go do what I have to do. I'm too old. I'm too lazy for that. No. But we have to go back to that same marketing principle. Your best business is always going to be from repeat clients. So if your delivery sucks, say goodbye to those clients. You may be winning short term, but you're going to lose long term. And so if you're like, there's kind of two phases, and this is how I explain it to my clients. There's going to be phases where you're in a growing phase, but they should be relatively short and very targeted and have a very specific goal defined. Because, okay, you have the delivery on lock, you have your courses running, your clients are happy, things are moving along, they're great. Okay, we always need new people coming in, right? That's also a fact. You need visibility, you need more people. So have a short targeted time where you're in a growth phase, and then you pull back. You're in a maintenance phase. You're delivering, you're doing what you do, you're serving your clients, you're coming up with choreographies, you're making the program, you're improving your skills. Because I know you're someone who doesn't just rest on their ass and like, oh, I've made it now. You want to improve just for your own self-satisfaction.
Of course. Right? Yeah.
So you have to move before those phases. But if you ask me to pick one, I'll always pick delivery. To be honest, as a marketer, I'm not that great. I don't take my own advice half the time because I am also busy serving my clients right now. I have right now one opportunity to work with me one-to-one in a 90-minute session. Otherwise, I do it when I have time. But otherwise, no, you need to be in a 3, 4, 6 month container with me, because I don't have time to constantly just be chasing after $200, $300 here and there. I can't do it as a business owner. It's too much, because then my clients who are paying me thousands, they're going to suffer. And those clients have been with me 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I want to keep them happy because they keep coming back. They keep coming after, I keep growing, so they keep growing. It's, it's a beautiful relationship that we have that I don't take for granted. When somebody trusts me with their time, their energy, their money, I take that very seriously. That is such a gift to me, because I know what I'm giving them in return is something good. So I'm not here to just be like, oh, come in the door, I'll take all these clients, because I've been scammed the same. Maybe I shouldn't say scam, but I've been on the receiving end of the same thing that you have in the coaching industry with people that I've invested in. Their marketing is so fucking slick, man. It speaks to all my pain points. It like gets me in the gut, and I'm like, man, she can help me. This will work. This is going to be the golden ticket. And then I get a fucking Google worksheet. Are you kidding me? That was a money grab, pure and simple. And so your client, like, I'm not going to go out on the internet and like disparage these people, but if people come to me asking me about them, I'd say, hell no. And for me, my reputation, my name, I want to sleep at night. So if you want to make the quick money, you want to get the money, you want to get the sales, you want the visibility, you want the growth, there's a compromise there. And that compromise is your long-term growth and possibly your ability to sleep with yourself at night. You may have a bank account up to whatever, but like, where are you going to be in 5 years? I know in 5 years, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, it's not sustainable because you do need people to come back to you because the delivery was so good and they see the results, and you want people to talk about you on your back.
Yep.
That is the most underestimated form
Word of
of
mouth.
marketing, that if you really impact people and if you care, you're not just selling them something and then dropping them like a hot potato. You care. I want to take you from here to here, and I'll make sure that from my side you have all the assistance you need, right? If you really have it in your heart, then people talk about you. They recommend your work. When they speak your name, they speak your name with respect and admiration, and that is priceless. No ad, no sales smartness can compensate for the true legacy and impact that you leave on people and how they will market you behind your back. I know that from personal experience. They market the hell out of you on your back if you do the job that you promised to do, and if you do it with integrity and professionalism, and if you don't take people for granted. As you said, it doesn't matter how great you may be, people invest their time, their money, their energy on you, and what you have to offer. That's a privilege, man. I mean, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? I have had, dancers say, yeah, but they should be so lucky to study with me. What? What planet are you coming from?
I mean, how many workshops have you taken with famous dancers that you've gotten nothing out of?
Absolutely. Yeah. But that's a kind of entitlement that will cost you a lot in the long run. So what I tell students is, it doesn't matter how great you think you are. If you're the most talented person in the world, if you're Suhair Zaki and Mahmoud Reda melted into one, for all I care. If someone takes their limited time and resources to look at you, to watch you dance, to learn from you, that's a privilege. It's a privilege, and you should respect and appreciate that someone took their resources, their time, their money, their energy, and they invested it in you. Because you're not the last Coca-Cola in the desert. Nobody is. As you said, we all live, busy lives, challenging lives. We have so much going on. Even if you're the best teacher in the world, the best dancer in the world, having people invest in you and what you have to offer is a privilege. So treat it as such.
It is. It is. And the flip side of this too is, I want to bring this up, is like, for the people listening who are out there who are like, I'm not ready yet. I don't know if I should. I don't have anything to offer. Like, yes, you need to do the clarity. You need to be talented and whatever. Let's assume that. But there's nobody who's going to bestow this authority or expertise onto you. You have to claim it. You have to claim it. Like, if you know that you don't need, and this is the beautiful thing, you don't need to be Suhair Zaki. You can be Paula from freaking Arizona. You could just be whoever, but as long as you want to serve people and you can help them, you don't need to be famous. You don't.
There's nothing wrong with Arizona.
I don't know. But you don't need a certification. You don't need to take, yes, take classes, of course, but there's a limit. Like, there's this like hunger that people have. It's like, if I just do one more class, if I just take one more lesson, if I just go to one more festival, if I just win one more competition, and it's never ending. So realize that there's those people out there whose delivery sucks, but you don't have to have a big name to have good delivery. You can help people. I truly believe that, like, you need to get clear on your message, on your ideal client, all of these basics. But like, if you have a passion for it and you have an experience helping yourself and helping people maybe 2 steps behind you, you have a gift. You have a gift and you can leverage it. It's just deciding if you want to or not. And Like, I think it's your way of counteracting the people that me and you are talking about, these ones with the slick marketing, or the, you know, the $7,000 price tag on a workshop that they teach 4 hours on the same 2 choreographies for across the world. You know, like, maybe you're not going to be famous, but you're going to impact people. And which is more important, impacting people or being famous and then people talk shit about you behind your back?
Exactly. But you know, you touched two things that most of us will suffer from, and that's self-sabotage and procrastination. Actually, procrastination is a symptom of self-sabotage. So as you said, you know, there come a point where you have to decide, okay, how many more courses will I take? How many more festivals will I go to? How much more do I need to learn until I feel some kind of ready for this? Yeah. And that moment for a lot of folks never arrives. They never feel ready. And there is something to be said about that. I mean, I've been doing this for 25 years at the highest level. I don't think I feel totally ready yet. And I will never feel totally ready. There is so much I don't know. There is so much I haven't explored. There are depths in my art form I haven't reached yet. I am fully aware of my ignorance as I am aware of my knowledge. So I don't even believe there is a point you feel fully ready. But the question is that people self-sabotage. They convince themselves, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. And then 1 year goes by, another year goes by. I see that a lot in private coaching and in my professional mastermind, where people take that first step. Yes, Joanna, help me, right? How do we do this? How do I build a professional, well-structured course, or how do I build a professional performance? But then they start to doubt themselves. Maybe this is not for me. Oh my God, this is too much for me. I cannot handle it. You're asking me to tell me what I have to offer. I have nothing to offer. Oh my God, maybe this is too early. No, I'm not ready. So they start to get into this spiral of self-sabotage, convincing themselves that they're not there yet. The question is that they will never be there yet. So they will look back at some point and see lesser dancers doing a lot of stuff, and they will feel enraged and frustrated and furious. I could have done so much better. Yeah, honey, but you didn't. That is the question. She did. You could have, but could have, it's useless. Yes, you could have, but you didn't. So we go full circle back to the masculine principle.
Yep, exactly. It's all connected. Everything in this is connected. It's balance. It's everything is a balance. Like, I see the I'm not an expert syndrome so much. You're never ready. Were you ready when you danced at your first Hafez? Were you ready when you did your first restaurant performance? Were you ready the first time you competed? Were you ready the first time on a festival stage? You were never ready, but you went. Experience gets you the confidence. It gets you the confidence, and it's staying steadfast. It's just staying the course. It's just letting nothing get to your head. And it's hard. Some days are hard, and that's okay. It's okay for some days to be hard, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. But it doesn't have anything. And this is where I think everybody gets messed up with this, is your identity as a person and the identity of what it is that you do.
Oh, yeah.
And the people who are successful, separated. The people who are not successful, the ones caught in the spiral that you said, they're the ones whose identity is wrapped up solely in being a dancer or a coach or what the fuck ever, right? They're the ones who it's like, oh, well, I'm a bad person because I didn't make enough money and I had no clients. It's like, oh, I didn't make a lot of money. Let me go check out why that was. But you know, inside, like, I'm still a good person. I know I'm helping. I just got to tweak something here or there. Like, that's fine. And
their sense of self-worth is mixed with the results they get in their work, and that is very dangerous.
Especially for dancers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad for everybody, but especially for dancers, because the thing is, we age. we age, it's just life moves on. Like you can keep selling a copywriting course until you're 96 on your deathbed, but you're not going to be able to teach and dance. Inshallah you can, but I mean, you're not going to be touring the world and doing gigs at 95. I can guarantee that.
And not only that, even if you are doing excellent work, and I see for myself, I have created performances or courses, for festivals, in my online school, everywhere basically. And a lot of stuff that I considered exceptional was not well received. And a lot of stuff that I didn't consider so interesting was a success. People loved it. They want more of it. And it's crazy, if I felt bad whenever something doesn't go according to my expectations, or if I felt like the best in the world every time something is successful, I would be in a mental asylum by now. Really, because no. We have to make it more relative and detach, as you said, detach who am I and my worth as a person from the results of my work. Because the results of my work, they depend on so many things. Sometimes they depend on trends. You don't even control trends. What is in fashion right now? And what you're doing may not be in fashion. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm saying it may not be fashionable. So it will suffer. What does that say about your value? Nothing. It says very little about your value. But still, people identify it as a personal attack, also because creative work comes from within. So if people don't like what I create, they don't like me. That means I'm not good enough. I'm not a good person. Oh my God, don't go there, right? Yep. They have the right to like it, not like it, the same way you may love Picasso, I love Caravaggio, and we're not going to kill each other because you think Picasso is superior to Caravaggio. It is a personal taste. It's fine, It is important to detach what we do from who we are. And it is essential, I believe, to educate yourselves for sure. And I hope people get it, that we're not advocating that you are completely untrained, uneducated dancer and you start working on it. That's not what we're claiming here. But there comes a point, if it's in your heart, if it's a deep desire to work in the field, you have to come to terms with the fact that, okay, I will never feel fully ready. And again, nobody starts a master. Nobody starts. It doesn't matter how talented you are. I remember watching my first performances in Egypt. I want to die. I want somebody to kill me. They're so bad. And I wonder, how did they hire me even, because what the hell was going on? I got to give it to the work. There was a lot of passion in it. There was talent there, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. But you have to start somehow. Otherwise, as we said, time will go on and you will wonder why everybody else is doing whatever they're doing and you're not doing what's in your heart. There comes a point when you have to say, okay, let's jump, let's do, and let's see where this will take me. Let's face success, failure.
And where it takes you, maybe it might be better than what you imagined. Like, you think you want to go, if you don't start, you don't know where it's going to take you. And it may take you somewhere you didn't expect, and it might be even better than what you were hoping for. What's that there's that phrase, it's like, the apprentice has started 100 times, but the master has failed 10,000 or something like that. I don't know, but it's just like, I just want people, nobody is going to come down from on high and bestow all of this stuff for you and tell you, you are ready. You are now acceptable. No, you have to do it and just be comfortable watching those old performances and cringe. I look at my old content and I'm like, what were you doing? What was this shit? And it's embarrassing, but it's like, hey, it spoke to somebody. It spoke to somebody. It got me started. It got me started and it gave me the experience. And this is why people come to us. Hey, we fucked up enough for you to come to us, and we'll save you some time so you can fuck up in new ways. You're going to
Yes.
fuck up no matter what. You're going to screw up, but go screw up in a new way, because we already have some of the other ways already covered. We'll tell you that they don't work. It's okay. Like, and just like going back to it, have fun with it. It's fun.
Yeah.
This is fun. We're
And
so privileged to be here and doing this.
remembering that if you're in it for the long run, there will be times when you will not do something extraordinary. There will be times when you will suck, independently of how experienced you are. There will be times when you're not inspired, you're not in the mood, you're going to do something average or mediocre, and that's fine, because there is no expectation of being a genius every freaking day, and you have to be fine with it. So a lot of it is ego management, right? Because what I also observe is that dancers are under the expectation that if I become a professional, I will be Bob Fosse every day. I will come out with the perfect choreography and the perfect work and the perfect courses every freaking day because I'm a pro. And that is not the reality if you're working on it and from it for year after year. You know, I always go back to the reference of Mahmoud because during the 10 years I was living and working in Egypt, I also studied and worked with him. And he was in his 80s, right? I met him in his late 70s, beginning of 80s. So there was an incredible legacy on his back already. He was ending the chapter, right? He was not opening it. And every morning he came into his studio at 8 a.m. to work on something. And frequently I would be choreographing with him something for his work. We would finish the morning and I would ask him, Mahmoud, hello, the work was nice. He said, لا, خرا, shit. But we did it. It's done. خلاص, we're done. We put in the hours and the work is done. Tomorrow, we'll come back to it. At first, I thought that was very strange because I expected him to be genius every day, you know. I had my own expectations of what he should do every day. But that was not the reality of a super talented visionary, as it was the case for Mahmoud. And he was totally okay with having bad days and having days when he put in the work, but the results were not to his liking. He was totally fine with it. He was not the least frustrated or feeling bad. He said, no, this is just part of the job. Some days it will not be good and it's fine, you know. I don't expect it to be brilliant every day. And people expect that from themselves. And when they don't deliver, they feel maybe I'm not talented, maybe this is not for me, maybe it's not happening for me, maybe I shouldn't be. They doubt themselves too much. There is too much expectation and ego and not enough reality. That's what I find. Now, last question, and we totally went overboard. Oh my God, I usually go overboard with guests, but this was too much. Is there a dream or a project you would like to share with us? Personal or professional, it doesn't matter.
Personal, I want to just travel to the States with my husband. Like that's my big thing right now. I just like, we don't want to live in the States, but I just want to bring him just so we can have a little bit more evenness in the Egyptian Americanness of our household. But I mean, otherwise my personal dreams are so basic, you know, buy a house, you know, be comfortable, you know, travel, whatever. Professionally, he and I actually just started a digital marketing agency, which I'm really excited about. And I just want to see that grow and be sustainable. And, you know, our vision for it is just win, win, win. Win for our clients, win for our contractors, win for us, because it's just, you know, the economic situation in Egypt is khara, it's shit.
Yes.
And we know so many talented graphic designers and website design people. Like, I want to help them make more money. And I have a bunch of people who need stuff done for them. And I'm really good at what I do. So it's like combining all this. I just want to see it grow and just be so mutually beneficial for all people involved. And it's such a simple thing, but it's just, I just really want to see that grow and just be successful and just be, you know, part of the change I want to see in the world, you know, just using my using my privileges to just help. I can't help everybody, but to just help those in my circle, just because I know so many talented people, and this is just what drives me in general. It's like, I just see so many talented people just wasting away because they don't know where to start, or it's overwhelming, or they don't know how to do something. It's like, we have the tools, we have the skills. Like, you be good at what you do, and we can take some of that off your plate. You still have to learn some principles for sure, but like, we can take some of that off your plate for sure. Like, you don't have to be Superwoman. You don't have to be, amazing at 20 different things. Like, we're here to help. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the information on your social media in the show notes so that people can find you and they can get informed about that project and other offers that you may have.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post it in the description box below the video on YouTube and also in the show notes on the audio platforms. Now, we are going to close with 3 features that I really love. One of them is a ping pong fast question and answer. So I don't want you to think about it. I want you to answer the first word that pops into your head. Okay. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Favorite word?
Moxie.
What is that?
It's like that, like fiery in your face, passion, flair, like,
Okay.
it's for like really intense passion or like sass. Yeah.
I did not know that word. Cool. Favorite feeling?
Coziness.
It's a good one. Favorite food?
Like just being cozy and confront. Chinese. Sichuan.
Okay. Favorite music?
Metal.
Oh, I didn't see
I
that
know I should have
coming.
said Egyptian, but metal is my favorite.
I didn't see that coming.
I know. I like to.
That's fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite place?
The beach? Or do I need to be more specific?
No. One wish for yourself.
To let go of all the shit in my head that doesn't serve me.
It's a big one, right? For all of us, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. One wish for the world.
The ability to see nuance, to see the gray areas.
Okay. And last but not least, one positive change we can implement to empower ourselves.
You're not a victim of circumstance. You're not a victim of politics. You're not a victim of your family. You're not a victim of your friends. Like, things you have for your life. You're not, things don't happen to you. Just getting rid of that, like, kind of woe is me mindset. This is what fucks people up, is that I can't change anything. Woe is me. Nothing ever works out. Like this.
The victim,
if you
the
can get rid of that
victim
mindset,
of the world.
everything changes.
Recommendations.
Yep.
Recommendations, a book or books that you would recommend, and you can keep it strictly related to Egyptian dance and music and culture or not. You can go out of that universe. What is the go-to book or books that you like to share, that you recommend?
Yeah, I won't go for Egyptian dance or music. I mean, you have that, like, you have all that covered. I really like The Obstacle is the Way. It's a really good book. It kind of touches on a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about like balance, taking control of what the things that you can, understanding that things are not going to be the way you want them to be just because you want them. And like that kind of, it's kind of stoic, like things are 50-50 in the world. They're not going to just be good to be good. You don't taste sweet without the sour, and it's like really tools for implementing that in your own life. And so I think that's what I'd go to for my book recommendation.
Okay. The obstacle is the way. And the movie you recommend, either Egyptian movie or any other?
I'll give you a show. Can I give you a show and not a movie for Egyptian? I just watched Finding Ola. It was so cute. It's about, have you watched it?
On Netflix?
Yeah.
I watched it a while ago. If it's the one I'm thinking about.
The second season. Yeah, it's about a 40-year-old woman. She gets divorced. She has to start her own line. She has to start her own business. She has a skincare line, and it's just like a very nice look. I mean, it's like very upper class Egyptian. Like, do not think this is a story of the people. It's very upper class, but I think it's very relatable for a lot of women. And
it is nice. Yeah, I saw it.
And
I loved it.
Yeah, it's really, and it has like the Egyptian values, but it's not like so like hardcore strict, but it's just, again, it's her finding her balance and her way in the world. And she doesn't take shit from anybody. And it's like, it's a really nice show. I like it.
Music you would recommend?
Oof. That's really hard because I am stuck in the 90s. When it comes to Western music, I'm stuck in the 90s. And when it comes to Oriental music, I mean, I want the classics. I mean, go listen to go listen to Abdel Halim. I'm a big fan of Fairouz in the morning, Kolthoum at night, but usually I switch Kolthoum for Abdel. I like to stick with the classics.
Okay. One word that uplifts your soul.
Possibility.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. That's
it's endless.
I like that.
It's endless.
And to close, you can ask me anything you want. So I offer the possibility of having my guest asking me anything they want about anything you may want to ask me about. What would that be?
Who's your favorite dancer right now in 2024?
You mean dancers in the active?
Yeah, dancers who are active right now in 2024. Who are you liking?
That's a really hard question because I don't particularly like what's going on. I'm the kind of person who I don't speak evil about anyone, because if I don't like something, I ignore it.
Yeah.
My life is short and I'm aware of it. So I put my time and my attention on the things and the people I like.
Yeah.
If I don't like something, I just dismiss it. I don't invest in it, So I don't like to speak negatively about someone. I will just tell you this. What's going on right now in terms of Raqs Sharqi, both in Egypt and abroad, does not inspire me. And I'm being honest here, okay? I do believe there are a lot of positive stuff happening. We have more festivals, more schools than ever. There is an expectation of more professionalism. The dance has grown in terms of vocabulary, the quality of choreographies. Teachers who otherwise could not teach, they can somehow teach, Yani. They have some idea of pedagogy. Where in the past you would have great dancers like Soher Zeki or the ones I studied with, who had no notion of teaching. I mean, they would just improvise in front of you and you would follow them.
Good luck.
Yeah, that was their concept of teaching, okay, which is very far away from what we see nowadays. So I'm not being negative here. I do believe a lot of stuff improved.
No.
But the dance has lost its soul. Dancers have lost the connection to their hearts. Elegance and artistry and musical interpretation are very rare.
Yeah.
Everything has become so fast, aggressive, masculine, vanity-oriented, and competitive, which is the exact opposite of what true Rakshasharki is, at least according to what I have learned and developed. Yeah. So to be quite honest, there is nobody who is working currently that has my attention. The last dancer I enjoyed watching was Lucy while I was still performing in Egypt. So I would end my shows late at night and she would still perform.
I saw your blog post about this.
Yeah. She would perform every once in a while. I don't know if she still does. I doubt it. I'm not sure. But every once in a while, she would show up at Le Parisien in Shar al-Haram. And I would go and I would wait for her patiently because I knew I would have a glimpse of a world. I don't want to say it's gone, but it's forgotten. It's not gone because the dance is the dance and it will always be here, you know, but it is forgotten. So there is no one that I look up to right now. Not in those terms. There are a lot of people doing good stuff and organizing.
Right, yeah, but like somebody you're going to get inspiration from.
No, unfortunately, no. So I go back to the people I studied with and the people I love to watch whenever I want to be reminded of what the hell am I doing and why I'm still doing it, you know?
I still follow Fifi Abdul on Instagram. Like, she's just fun. She's just fun because she's so silly and I just adore her. Like, she's so silly and she doesn't care. I don't care that you're not dancing. She just gives zero fucks. And it's
absolutely. Just well, but she is, you know, she is the most charismatic, confident, and fun performer I've ever seen in my life. And I had the chance to see her once perform by mistake, by chance. I wasn't looking for her. I was looking for Ibrahim Akif, the uncle of Naim Akif, and he was not teaching anymore. He was sick at the time. So I was redirected to Ramses Theater in Ataba. And I don't know why I said, okay, what the hell? I'm going to buy a ticket and go. But I had no idea why the gentleman redirected me there. And then there was a very long theater play. At the time, I did not speak Arabic, so I did not understand a word. But in the middle of the play, they made a pause. The curtain closed. The curtain opened again. There was a huge orchestra. And Fifi Abdul performed in the very famous tableau, Azemnia.
Yeah.
And I was so...
You saw that live? I can't believe it.
I saw that live. I saw it live totally by chance. Can you believe it? Totally by chance. I had no idea that was going to happen. And it had such a huge impact on me. It changed the way I saw performance completely. It changed the way I saw confidence and charisma and a lot of things that dancers don't usually develop that much. And I was totally in love with her. I never saw anything like that. And she was not even the best dancer in the world, huh? She's not the best dancer in the world, but as a performer, oh my God, it's the bomb. It's the bomb. It's irresistible.
Yeah.
Really irresistible, extraordinary performer.
And that's, I could talk to you for hours because it's like, people don't understand. You don't need to be the best teacher and performer and choreographer and blah, blah, blah. Like, there are some dancers who are amazing teachers, but honestly, their performance, not great. There's some dancers who are amazing technicians and they're beautiful dancers, but they don't leave you feeling anything. But then there's the Fifi Abdus who she's not complicated. She's not complicated. She's not ornate. She's not overdone, but her performance, chef's kiss. So you just have to find that one. We're sitting here talking about Fifi Abdel, like performance, like hands down. When you know this about Egyptians, like you ask them about dancers and you're like, oh, I don't like her. But Fifi and Suher Zaki are the two who are universally loved. Like ask anybody about Fifi or Suher, it's like, oh my God, I love her.
Absolutely.
Any other dancer, you'll get mixed opinions on. Those two, you will hear nothing.
They're universally loved for very different reasons. And yes, I mean, Fifi Abdel is a good example of quality, not quantity, right? And very often I show students her clips and the theater play that I saw, bits of it are on YouTube. And I tell them, look how much you can do with very few moves, right? So this idea that you need more quantity, more fancy combinations, a more complicated, clever choreography to do something extraordinary, that's a very big mistake, because sometimes simplicity is what will have the biggest impact. That is true for performance. It is true for so many things. And she's an incredible example of it. Absolutely. Katie, we would be here for days.
I know. We got to wrap it up. Otherwise, this will go on forever.
It will go on forever. And it will be, the first podcast episode that lasts a few days. I don't know if people would have the time for it. So, oh my God, this was such a pleasure. And because you feel it. And we could be here indeed talking about so many things. Once again, I'm going to thank you for being here with me, sharing your passion, sharing your knowledge, your experience, your light. You know what I like about you the most is the sun you bring into the room. It's a very sunny energy and it's beautiful. Thank you. Once again, I am going to pinpoint. You are welcome. I am going to pinpoint that I'm going to share your references, how people can get in contact with you in the show notes. I'm also going to share the podcast newsletter link. Everybody knows that it's always interesting to be inside our community because there is so much going on there from me, from our guests. I'm going to invite you guys to share this episode, comment on it, ask questions if you have questions, and basically deliver your feedback because I and my guest would love to hear what you think about everything that we talked about. Mazbout?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you
You
so much.
are
Shukran.
most welcome. Afwan ya habibti. Thank you so much, Katie.